Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Let's Play WWE 2015. As you can tell, we're starting from we're mixing things up a little bit this time around, as this week's show is not finished yet. We just have the main event left to do, and that's what I'm going to book right now, as John Cena will step into the main event against the current Intercontinental Champion, The Miz. I believe that's the right amount of time. Nope. See, if you're one of the people that moved right over to, if you're one of the people that moved right over to TEW 2016, on TEW 2016, you could book the matches for as long as you want, or as long as you think that they should go. On TEW 13, the matches get rated worse if they go for longer than they should. So that's why I am so particular with the match lengths, because the rating of the match is dependent on how long the match goes. Okay, I guess that's not enough. Well, let's give more time to the people, to the interviews. Give another minute to this, and I guess we can, I don't know, take a minute away from this. Does that work? Yep. Yes, it does. Sounds good to me. Now we're gonna book, I don't know, okay, we'll do that. I just decided something to myself, so I don't want you to think I'm crazy. Or no, I just decided how I wanted to do something. So yeah, but that's beside the point. So we'll do Chris Hero versus Tyler Breeze on the pre-show, and the game can choose who wins. And now let's jump into it. Chris Hero defeats Tyler Breeze. And I will be honest with you, this could actually start something for both Tyler and Chris that would be beneficial to both of them, as neither one of them are doing much of anything. Yes, the extent of the feud may be on the B show, but still, it would be beneficial to both of them if this could lead to something between them, because in my opinion, Chris Hero winning is a very big surprise, almost something, dare I say, shocking, that could have been seen on the A show, but I didn't think that a 48 rating was possible for these two, so these two genuinely surprised me with great chemistry, and it showed by the 48. Now we move to the opening segment of the show, and sort of disappointing, as The Miz and Alex Riley start the show attacking Dean Ambrose. And yes, you could say, I guess you could point it out as this is very reminiscent of earlier this year when Brock Lesnar attacked Dean Ambrose before Raw, on the Raw following Fastlane, to start the build-up for Brock versus Dean for WrestleMania. But this is not starting the build-up for Miz versus Dean, because if you've seen any episode of this series from this year, you'd know that Dean and The Miz have been feuding pretty much since the end of last year or the beginning of 2015. As we head towards WrestleMania, and now we head to Michael Cole and his cohorts as they welcome us to Monday Night Raw and they talk about what this means for the supposed triple threat match that was supposed to take place later tonight between Sami Zayn, Dean Ambrose, and Alex Riley, and how now the triple threat match cannot happen due to Dean Ambrose being medically not medically cleared to compete. And also, we've heard that Alex Riley is injured. So what does this mean for the supposed triple threat match that was the triple threat match that was set for tonight, that was supposed to determine who would be facing The Miz at WrestleMania? I guess we'll have to wait to find that out. Now we head to the opening match of the night, as Cesaro goes up against Big E, as the tag team tournament, per se, has taken a turn towards singles matches here tonight on Raw. As we head now to the next segment, Stardust calls out his father, Dusty Rhodes, as Dusty was in the ring last week with Goldust, talking about how things needed to change, but now Stardust is calling out Dusty. And this is when Dusty and Cody have a heart-to-heart. Sort of, if you see, if I remember, I'll put a link to this in the description to the video, but it's sort of reminiscent of when Dusty and Dustin had a heart-to-heart back in WCW in 1994, before Dusty returned to the ring to help Dustin against the Stud Stable. I believe that's who they fought in War Games 1994. But either way, very reminiscent and sort of the same thing. But Dusty pulls it out and shoots and tells Stardust that he should have left a long time ago, that this isn't the best way to put forth the talents of Cody Rhodes. This isn't the best way to utilize Cody Rhodes. This is a never-ending saga between the Rhodes and the McMahons, and them making us look like a joke because I made a name for myself without them. And then Cody puts his hand over his dad's mic, and just tells Dusty, "What don't you understand about this? This isn't about you. This is about me. This is about my career and what's best for me. And that's why in 2 weeks at WrestleMania, I will be stepping in the ring with Goldust. And I will put an end to this once and for all. Don't you try and hug me." As Cody says that after Dusty tries to hug him. "What don't you understand about this, Dusty? This wasn't WWE's doing. This was yours. Because Goldust was an advent of Dustin's mind to try and escape your shadow. And that's exactly why I did this, to try and escape your shadow. You're the reason I'm like this, not them. Get out of my face, 'cause I am not your son and you're not my father." And then he slaps Dusty right across the face, and that's all Goldust can take as Goldust runs out. And Goldust starts trading. Goldust doesn't have a microphone, but he starts spewing out everything possible at Cody. And Dusty gets in between them to try and stop the Goldust from going after his brother, as Cody starts laughing maniacally. I don't want to say maniacally, I don't want him to seem like an evil villain, but he starts laughing and as he walks out of the ring. For once in WWE, we're seeing a family feud, and it's not the McMahons. Okay, I'll be honest with you on this match. I don't know how this match got rated this bad, other than the possibility that I just noticed that I was in New Brunswick, Canada, which could possibly be the reason why this match got rated so bad. But that does not mean that I'm swayed from doing it once I'm back in the States. It just means, well, they're not popular in Canada, so I'm not able to do it in Canada. And now we move to the promo after the match, as Paige takes up the microphone and just tells AJ, people have been bitching and moaning and complaining about the fact that we need to be taken seriously. Not you people, the women backstage. But when you look at the women that have walked through that curtain over the last couple of years, you wonder why this division has been taken anything less than seriously. Because how many models does it take to come down here and convince those people backstage that this isn't the way you treat a division? But then things started to change when AJ got in the division. Things started to change when I got in the division. Hell, things changed when Natty won the Divas title, and now WrestleMania is coming around, and Natalya and Mickie James are competing for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania. I should be competing for the women's title, not facing you, AJ. That's why at WrestleMania, it will be the last time we face one-on-one or at all, because I am going to be the one that makes you regret staying in WWE and not leaving with your husband. See you at WrestleMania, AJ. We move to the next match as Tyson Kidd goes up against Darren Young, and Darren Young gets the victory over one half of the tag team champions. Honestly, I did this because Tyson and Cesaro have been unbeatable in tag team matches, and this is the first time that Tyson Kidd is competing in a singles match since the start of the season, pretty much. So basically, this is to put over the fact that Tyson needs Cesaro. I mean, or it's just the fact that Tyson needs to lose, and singles matches are really the only way he can because he's tag team champions. The reason why I'm not talking about the AJ promo is because I have one more promo that I want to get to before I talk about the seriousness of the promos, and that's why at the end of this video I will talk about the 3 promos that I did tonight. So now we get to Stephanie McMahon, who comes down to the ring following a break, and she's out here to talk about the attack on Dean Ambrose earlier tonight and what that means for the Intercontinental title's future at WrestleMania. And Stephanie says that because Dean Ambrose is a former Intercontinental Champion. He is guaranteed his rematch clause, and because Dean Ambrose is not medically cleared to compete tonight, he is automatically in the match for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. As for Sami Zayn, if Sami can win his match tonight, then Sami gets his shot at the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. Oh, I apologize. This was supposed to happen, but Stephanie was supposed to be in the segment. Well, basically, Miz comes out, and Stephanie is standing in the, as Miz walks down to the ring, Miz without Alex Riley, he just says, really? Really? At one point, this title meant something. This title was at one point the breeding ground for the future. And the way they made an impact and got noticed. Guys like Randy Savage, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Scott Hall, Rick Steamboat, Jericho. So many names won this title to stay relevant or get noticed. Then after the utmost disrespect to the title and the meaning and the life being sucked out of the title and the importance being sucked out of the title, you give Dean Ambrose an opportunity, and Dean Ambrose continues to suck the life out of the title. And then I get the belt. And I start giving life back to the title. I start giving importance back to the title because I am an A-lister. I am The Miz. And now you're giving me the utmost disrespect. You're giving me a slap in the face by having me not just face Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania, but possibly face one other challenger. That means I have less than a 50% chance of walking away with the world title, with the Intercontinental title. Stephanie, what don't you understand? Without me, you should just retire the Intercontinental title, because I am bringing back its legacy. I am making it mean something again. And with me holding this belt, it's up to me to show everyone here and everyone back there why not only this title should mean something, why it does mean something. But you putting me against people like Dean Ambrose and Sami Zayn, they shouldn't even be in the conversation because they're not on my level. Once again, this is basically Stephanie saying, Miz, I can understand your frustration, but you need to remember something, and that something is that I am your boss. And you will never, ever talk to me like that again, because I can just as easily strip you of that Intercontinental title as to put you in a match against whoever I please, because I am your boss. And if you don't like it, go find employment somewhere else, because if you're such an A-lister, then you should have directors knocking down your door. and calling me every waking moment of every day, all hours of the day, asking if you're free to participate in a movie. Since that's not happening, Miz, I hate to break it to you, but you don't have a say in who you defend your title against. I decide that. And that's why tonight, Sami Zayn will have his opportunity. And since your protege, Alex Riley, cannot compete, Sami will be competing against an opponent of my choice. And if Sami wins, then he will be one other challenger for you at WrestleMania. Because after that little tirade, you're not just versing Dean Ambrose. And if Sami Zayn wins tonight, you're not just versing Sami Zayn, because next week, another match will be happening for the final spot in the Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania for your Intercontinental title. And Miz, if you don't like it, then hand me that title right now. Other than that, have a nice night. I was honestly supposed to cut this, but I didn't, so let's just leave this alone. Now we move to the final, I believe, match between the singles match between tag teams tonight, as Titus O'Neil goes up against Kofi Kingston. And even though honestly, this match got better than I thought it would with a 63. I mean, it probably helped that Titus and Kofi apparently have great chemistry together in the ring. But either way, Kofi gets the win, which means that basically every team got at least one win. And if I'm correct, I did not pick the winner in this match, so that's just coincidental that the New Day ended up getting the win. This is basically Dean Ambrose backstage with Tom Phillips. The only reason why Tom Phillips isn't featured in the segment is because Tom Phillips is actually not in this database, so he can't be featured. But either way, Tom Phillips is in the doctor's office, or the doctor's office backstage, talking to Dean Ambrose about what happened earlier tonight between him and The Miz and Alex Riley, and how he feels about not being medically cleared to compete tonight. And Dean says, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I might not be ready tonight, but I'm ready for I'll be ready on SmackDown, and somebody is going to get their ass beat on SmackDown. And even if it isn't The Miz, it'll still be because it'll be somebody because I'm ready, willing, and able to kick somebody's ass. Heck, I'm ready to do it right now, but I don't want to get suspended. Or I don't want to get, removed from the Intercontinental title match for disobeying this nice doctor. So Miz, Alex, I know I don't have to beat your asses to really mess with you. All I have to do is beat you at WrestleMania, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I don't care if I have to get through Sami Zayn. I don't care if I have to get through the Great Khali. I will be the Intercontinental Champion again after WrestleMania. Now get out of my face. Well, basically what's happening here is Dean leaves Tom in the doctor's office, starts walking down the hallway, and he walks into the camera. He walks up to Sami Zayn and bumps into him backstage. Agents are standing around them, making sure that it doesn't turn physical, but all Dean Ambrose says is, Sammy, Watch your back, because I guarantee you, The Miz will do everything he can to make sure that you will not get your opportunity at WrestleMania. And even though they say I can't compete, I still have your back, because I want to maim The Miz just as bad as you do. Now we move to the next match as the Ascension quickly send away the challenge of Santino Marella and Heath Slater. I don't know. Then again, I don't know how much of a challenge these two actually were for the Ascension. And now we move to the match. To the next segment, as Renee Young is standing by with David Otunga. And Renee asks David why he wanted this time, and all David says is, keep not giving us the time of day. Keep not giving us a fair chance. And we'll keep proving you wrong and showing you why we deserve your attention. And why we deserve to be taken seriously. I didn't say that management fears us for nothing, because they fear what the Ascension can become. Out walks the WWE World Tag Team Champions, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, and all you hear from Cesaro is, you might not have their attention, but you have our attention. And that leads to a face-off between the Ascension and Tyson and Cesaro. What does this mean for the tag team title picture at WrestleMania? Does this mean that the Ascension might have found their way into the tag team title picture? Or does this mean that, well, David Otunga's right and the Ascension won't be in it because management won't let him? For that, you have to tune in to find out. I have nothing to say about this match other than, gives Joe a squash match before his match against Jericho. This is basically what, every other segment, every other interview has been about. He's hyping up his match against Jericho and how, though he may not have a lot of achievements like Jericho does in WWE, he's been traveling the world, Joe has, for his entire career, and has main evented shows, sold out shows, won world titles, everywhere he's been. He's been the most dominant force outside of WWE, and that's where it starts at WrestleMania when he defeats Chris Jericho and becomes the most dominant, and starts his trek to become the most dominant force in the WWE. Well, we needed another match other than what was a pretty bad match between Emma and Paige because of the fact that we're in Canada, but that's why I let Layla and Brie compete tonight, as Brie gets the victory over Layla. Oh, crap. This is actually where that segment was, so I screwed up because I must have moved these segments around, not realizing that they were moved around before I started the show. So I apologize. This is supposed to be here. This is supposed to be here as Alex and Miz come down and join commentary for, yes, you guessed it, Sami Zayn's match, and Sami gets the win via disqualification after Alex Riley and The Miz run interference in the match, which also costs Ted DiBiase the match tonight, but also gets Sami Zayn his spot in the Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania. And then we see this happen as Alex Riley Ted DiBiase Jr. and The Miz attack Sami Zayn, and that leaves only one person, as Dean Ambrose runs in for the save, keeping his word with Sami, and helping him against The Miz, Ted DiBiase, and Alex Riley. But what does this mean for the Intercontinental title picture? As, to me, this seems like it's going to be a handicap match for The Miz at WrestleMania, with Dean Ambrose and Sami working together. But will Dean Ambrose and Sami realize the bigger picture, as this means one of them may walk out the Intercontinental Champion? Or will their partnership get in the way? But also the X factor is, who will be the fourth man in the Fatal 4-Way for the IC title at WrestleMania? But either way, we move to the next segment, and it's Roman Reigns talking up his main event match at WrestleMania against the WWE Champion, Brock Lesnar. Roman gets his match tonight against the Big Show, and Roman, of course, defeats the Giant as we draw closer to WrestleMania, which means Roman's matches will be a little bit more competitive and a little less jobberish as he moves on to face the Beast Incarnate. Kevin Owens, much like Roman Reigns 2 segments ago, builds up his match as he's backstage with Tom Phillips, and Kevin is talking about his match against John Cena at WrestleMania, and what it would mean in his mind when he defeats the face that runs the place. And Kevin says that when he beats John Cena, he becomes the face of the WWE. And now we move to the next match as Dolph Ziggler goes up against Justin Gabriel. If you remember, on and off for the last month, I have put forth random mid-card matches with people on the roster to give people not only time on television, but just wins and losses, because in my mind, wins and losses do matter, because if you remember, Justin Gabriel going on a little bit of a winning streak netted him an Intercontinental title shot against The Miz, and the same thing happened for Shelton Benjamin a couple weeks ago. So wins and losses do matter in my version of WWE, even if they don't matter in the real version. Now we move forward as a video package is aired, building up WrestleMania, which is now less than a little over 2 weeks away, as it is the first week of April, the first Sunday in April, and we still got, at this point, 2 Raws left before WrestleMania, but we're in the home stretch. And now the main event, as John Cena goes up against The Miz. And The Miz, well, in my mind, Miz being the Intercontinental Champion, even against John Cena, I wanted to protect him. So Cena won via disqualification when Alex Riley ran in and attacked John Cena. What does this mean for next week? I don't know. For that, you'll have to tune in to find out what this means for next week. What this means for this week, though, is a final rating of a 73, and us increasing our popularity in 11 regions, but losing popularity in 16. This was not the worst loss. This was not the worst popularity loss for us thus far. I believe that happened. Well, of course, that probably happened on a SmackDown, but that's beside the point. Point is, we are in the home stretch to WrestleMania, and like I mentioned earlier, I just wanted to say that the reason why maybe the interview seemed a little bit more serious is because I'm turning up the volume, per se, on the interviews, and I guess making him seem more like shoots or more legitimate. But let me know down in the comment section below what you thought of the show, and if you prefer the interviews like this, or, you know, a rough overview of the interviews like I did for the last two interviews with Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. And as always, feedback is more than welcomed and appreciated, but if you don't want to leave a comment, you can always leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time. Later.